Hello, Teacher 3. This is Jen Zuli, and I am so excited that you're interested in using the coaching process to add technology to your Spanish classes. I think that technology has a lot to offer your kids in terms of customizing instruction for them and getting them really thinking and talking and engaging with the language in a deep way. A tool that I'm particularly excited about is called Verso. So Verso is basically an online discussion tool that gives you a lot of feedback about how kids are discussing and how they're thinking and talking. So basically what it lets you do is post something for kids to respond to, whether that's an article or a video, and then you pose a question and kids respond to that question by typing, and then they can see each other's responses and comment on their peers' opinions. So it's particularly promising because you always try to have those discussions in your class, but kids might be very shy, particularly about using a second language. They might not use it as well in the moment as they could if they had time to kind of think and process, and you might not hear from everybody. So this is a platform that lets you hear from every student, that lets you see multiple responses from every student. You can require detailed responses, and it lets you really think and analyze about how kids are using the language. It also lets you suggest target language for the kids to use, and you can assess based on vocabulary words that you're teaching or that relate to the activity. Okay, so let's get started. The first thing that you're going to do is you're going to go to verso.com and set up a free account, which is very easy. And then you're going to go to your dashboard, which is right here, and you're going to click on Add Activity. Now, I actually have one class set up. It's called Dr. Zuli's class. I'm going to click on that. That's another way of getting to it. And I'm going to add an activity. Okay, so here we have several options for what to do. If you have a document saved on your computer, a PDF, for example, or if you have a video that's saved on your computer that you want to upload, you can do that. Alternatively, if you're pulling something off of the web, you can go to link. These are the two tools that you're going to be using the most to add materials to your Verso page. So what I'm going to do, I actually went to a site called NewsELA. NewsELA is a platform that culls articles from newspapers around the country and adapts them so that they can be read at various reading levels, and also translates a large number of them into Spanish. So what I did, and you're not going to be able to see it, but very quickly I'm going to make a copy. On NewsELA, I found an article in Spanish exploring the question of whether respondents to the 2020 census should be asked about their citizenship status. So all I did was copy the link on the NewsELA site. I'm going to click on link here. Okay. I'm going to paste, and then I just hit enter. Okay, and you can see that my link has appeared. Okay, the next thing is a title of my activity. Okay, so I'm going to call this, should we ask about citizenship status on the next census? Now, you'd be writing in Spanish. For the sake of clarity, I'm writing in English today. Okay, then we get to the instructions and questions for your students. So this is where the rubber really hits the road in terms of producing good academic discussion from your kids. I think we tend to think of kids as digital natives and assume that they'll just jump on this and know what to do. But actually, kids have varying levels of experience and sometimes very limited experience with conducting themselves in an online academic context. The danger here is that you're going to see a lot of texting language, a lot of off-track comments, and possibly a little bit more of a personal attack than you would really want to see on an academic site or really anywhere. So you want to be specific about the guidelines for conversation with your kids. You want to make it clear that the rules for discussing online are the same as the rules for discussing on your classroom. So some of the things that I would suggest, first of all, is just making it very clear, classroom discussion rules apply online. Okay. Second, you want them to state an opinion clearly in your best Spanish. Do not use slang or abbreviations. Okay, I'm not going to fill all these in for you, but you get the idea. We'll get to vocabulary in a second. There's a place where you can suggest vocabulary for them to use. A really great thing to do also for your kids would be to provide them with some sentence stems. For example, we know that when kids productively and politely disagree with each other, that makes a much deeper discussion. So in this box, you might provide some sentence stems. Things like, I hear what you're saying, but disagree because, and then kids can fill that in. Or, while I agree with blank, I disagree that blank. And kids can use that sentence to build an opinion. Okay? The next box is for people with the premium account, which costs money. And then down here is a really great box for you to suggest vocabulary for students to use. So this could actually be a vocabulary assessment if you have target vocabulary that you're teaching along with the article or along with a unit on argumentation. Okay? Here's where you indicate which class you're giving this to. I've only got one class set up. If you do the pro version of this, which costs money, then you can set up multiple classes. And then you click on the minimum number of responses per student. So what I want my kids to do is I want them to state an opinion themselves, and then I want them to respond to the opinions of others. And so I'm going to indicate that I want at least 3 responses. So this is really great. Sometimes in the moment in your classroom, kids aren't doing their best thinking, but kids can post on this anytime. So they can state an opinion, they can go away, they can think about it, they can come back and add more. They can read what other people have to say, they can consider that. They've got all the processing time that they need, and then they can type their responses. So the activity is open as long as you keep it open. When you're ready to close it, you just click on that box over there and kids can no longer contribute to the conversation. Okay, I'm going to leave that open. Okay, and then as soon as you're ready to go, you click on Create Activity. Okay, so the kids will see, you're seeing what the kids are going to see. Okay, and you'll be able to track the number of comments. Kids can rate how helpful a comment is. Okay, now over here, you've got a whole set of options for you. Okay, so your library, when you use a material, it automatically goes into your library. So it's here if you want to do a different activity on the same article. And the more you use this, obviously, the more resources you'll build up online. Okay, there is professional development for you if you really want to dig into how to support teachers in, well, as it says, performing at their best. Going from deep surface thinking to deep critical thinking, really collaborating with each other to have deep conversations that broaden thinking and change minds. And all of that is available for you. Your statistics is going to tell you what's the average weekly engagement for kids on this site? What kind of response rate, what kind of comment rate are you getting? And then finally, when you click on campus, that's where you can look at the features that are available through freemium. And if your school is interested in that, we can certainly talk more. Okay, so I'm done there. Okay, so basically, there's a lot here, and you can dig into this as deeply as you can, but it's also possible to do a quick exploration of the tool without knowing all the details and features of the program. So I do encourage you to get it started and then see what your kids can do with it. Thank you very much, and I'm looking forward to working with you.